trying to stop two people from getting arrested. I don't know what they were getting arrested for, probably a load of bollocks. The prescription of Pal Action is something that fundamentally shouldn't be happening. When we've got thousands of kids in Gaza being killed daily, yeah? International law being violated by Donald Trump, by Benjamin Netanyahu, all in the name of protecting profit for the arms companies and the corporations that are using slave labour in Gaza. This is not on, this is not right. You need to get out onto these streets and stop this.
Palestine Action is about to be proscribed by the Labour government after breaking into RAF Brize Norton last week and spray painting 2 military aircraft. We're here at a protest being led by Palestine Action. If it is to be proscribed, just simply showing your support for Palestine Action could land you up to 14 years in jail under the Terrorism Act 2000. What are you doing right now?
I'm protesting against the prescription of the filth of Palestine Action as a prescribed terrorist organization. Now, because I know this is for journalistic purposes, I'm not going to go into my reasoning for that too much, but I'm a supporter of Palestine Action. I'm not a supporter of Hamas, but I am the supporter of the United Nations ratified right by any nation to the right to armed resistance. That is why I am here, and that is why if you ask any one of the hundreds of people that are here, they will answer you the same thing.
If it is prescribed a terrorist organisation, what you're doing here today, supporting Palestine Action, imprisonable by 14 years under the Terrorism Act, will that stop you from coming out to protest?
It won't stop me. Look, the recent prescription is nothing new. They tried to call people terrorists in 2003 when they protested the Iraq War. It's nothing new. It is what the establishment will always do, and you cannot let yourself be fearful.
Will you continue to support them?
I will continue to support them until the day that Palestine is free unequivocally from the river to the sea. 1948 borders. 1948 borders, no negotiations, because Hamas, who this country would class as terrorists, themselves are willing to make concessions to the 1967 borders, something that the Israelis have clearly shown they are unwilling to compromise on.
The government may try and silence Palestine Action, but the direct action mill cannot be unwrung. People are sick and tired of 20 months of genocide, and Palestine Action is being targeted today because we've been effective in stopping it. Palestine Action, through direct action, has forcibly, permanently closed 2 Israeli weapons factories that were operating here in the UK.
I think the Home Secretary should be very careful about what she does today. I mean, she's made the commitment, she's going to make the statement in Parliament. I think, sometimes you to put your hand up and say you might have got this wrong. I don't know who's advising her. I'd love to know who's advising her, but unfortunately, it feels to me this is very short-sighted and could have unintended consequences. Consequences I don't think anyone in the Labour Party would want to see, or anyone in the Labour government. We should cherish and protect the right to protest, but this is in a long line of actions by not just my government, but the government before, which has fundamentally undermined the right to protest. It's been weakened. I think when people voted for a Labour government, they thought that they would strengthen those protections, knowing what was happening. They didn't expect it to undermine them further, and that's what this feels like it is.
I mean, it's nothing like this has ever happened. It's a very scary time. It's a very scary time if you care about free speech, if you care about Palestine, if you care about the right to protest. Wearing a t-shirt shouldn't carry 14 years prison time. So, of course it's scary, yeah.
I think it's a government, my government, that is desperate to appeal to a certain part of the electorate, whether that's on immigration, whether that's on policing, whether that's on on terrorism, I suppose. But this isn't terrorism, it's protest. Disruptive protest. But there's a long history in this country of disruptive protest. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, a female Home Secretary, she knows that she's in politics because suffragettes threw themselves in front of the King's horse. They disrupted state occasions. What are they, terrorists? Were they terrorists? So I think we need to be really careful here, because I think most people understand actions like this can end up as a slippery slope.
This is a panic move that that the government went into because we humiliated them. Palestine Action humiliated this government by breaking into their supposedly secure RAF base and making the entire nation talk about a story that the government has been really trying not to talk about, which is its own military's participation in the war on Gaza.
Are you a terrorist?
Well, I am not a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist. I'd like to be a person of conscience. I have so many friends who work for the British state, civil servants, as people who commit their lives to helping the state, to helping, helping society, who are idealistic, who do no harm. We are not about doing any harm. I'm just here for support. I don't even do anything good, but I just think painting a plane red does no harm to anyone except to our desire to use that plane to kill someone else. No one has harmed anyone here. These people, terrorism is about harming civilians, violence against civilians. That's what terrorism. It is not about spray painting a military aircraft that's used in illegal war and military stuff. So we're not terrorists by definition. We're not terrorists by intention. We're morally not terrorists because we are against harming civilians.
If they are prescribed, supporting a group like Palestine Action would be a criminal offence, punishable up to 14 years in prison. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel so upset because I don't really know. I used to live in Zimbabwe. I used to live in a country that this country used to call very bad names. And it was terrifying the way anybody who stood up against Mugabe's government got treated. And I now find myself living in a worse country, and it really frightens me. I'm just scared, and I'm absolutely furious. I'm beyond angry.
Would you continue to show support for Palestine Action even if they were prescribed?
I hope so, but I don't know because I don't want to go to prison. Well, I can't go to prison. I couldn't survive prison.